running pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
How many volts you got running to that bad boy?
72.
That's right.
This bike is too fast. That's insane. Guys, I turned my Aniioki AQ177 into a straight monster. This thing is a beast of a bike. The stock Aniioki's controller was only pushing 25 amps. This thing is now pushing 300 amps. That is 12 times the power. 12 times. That's insane. In this video, we're gonna do an overview of all my mods, do some riding, and then a speed test. But before we do all that, I gotta give a huge shout out to two people. Johnny, who helped me with some of the wiring. He's part of X Crew. Thank you so much for everything you've helped me with. I really appreciate it. I also gotta give a shout out to Jeff, aka JB360 on YouTube. Man, he's been helping me since day one with the X-Class build. The moment I saw him convert his X-Class into a monster, I just had to do the same. I was inspired, and he's answered so many of my questions and been so helpful. So shout out to Johnny and Jeff for just passing down so much e-bike building knowledge. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into this overview. Okay, we're gonna start from left to right. And I even wrote down a list on my phone so that I don't forget anything I want to talk about. So the first thing is the tires. We got Shinkos 567s in the front and in the rear, and they're both actually meant for front tires. So the way the size is written on the website of RevZilla is 110/70-16. Those numbers are equivalent to 20x4 fat tires on e-bikes. It wasn't that hard to get the front tire onto that rim, but the rear rim is actually a bit thicker, wider, so it was a pain to get on. Okay, moving on to the headlight. This thing is probably the most noticeable change on the bike. These are the daytime running lights that I have on them right now, and I have them set to the high beams when I engage the lights, because the low beams weren't that bright, to be honest. That's what it looks like with everything turned on. Now, this headlight is actually meant for dirt bikes, but I think it goes so well with what I'm aiming for with this build. Like, if you look from the side profile, this bike, like the half part of the bike, if you use your imagination, it kind of looks like a motorcycle, like a Honda Rebel or one of those motorcycle bobbers. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta use your imagination really hard, but just a little bit. And then in the front half, it's got this interesting look going on. It kind of looks like something from the Matrix with my wiring feeding to the front of the bike. Like, you know that plug that goes behind Neo's neck? I think he uses it to enter the Matrix. I'm not sure, it's been a long time since I watched that movie, but that's what it kind of looks like. It looks kind of funny, but I like it at the same time. The front also kind of looks like a Decepticon. It looks like a Decepticon strapped with a bomb. We do have turning signals that's attached to the headlight, and they are functional. I really like the glowing red. It works really well. It contrasts with the black so well. We do have a DOT approved horn now. It works so much better than the stock horn that sounded like the Roadrunner. So moving up to the handlebars, we have a 3-speed switch. You can go into the controller app, which is the Fardriver app, and you can actually set it for how much like torque and speed you want it to cap out at for each level. So level 1, I have it capped out around like 33 miles per hour. Level 2 is around 45 miles per hour. And level 3 will just take you to the freaking moon. Like, I haven't even fully tested out level 3 yet. Yeah, it just keeps on pulling and pulling. We got the DKD display. To be honest, I kind of regret buying this. It was like 50 bucks and it came with a controller. I kind of regret buying it just because it's not that bright. It looks cool at nighttime, but during the daytime, I just pretty much use my phone speedometer. So this brake lever over here that controls the rear brake calipers, I have the motor cutoff set to engage regen as well. So to be honest, when I'm at like about 35 miles per hour and less, I barely use my actual brake pads. Most of it is regen braking, which is nice because it saves your brakes a lot. And the stock Aniioki brakes are okay for the stock bike, but for a modified bike, it's got to be upgraded unless you engage some heavy regen, which is what I do. But even then, I'm probably gonna upgrade my front rotor in the future, maybe to like 203s. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this bike. Right here on the frame, we have a 50 amp hour battery attached with some ratchet straps. I don't think it looks too bad for using ratchet straps, to be honest. This battery has a continuous rating of 300 amps. And underneath it, if you guys can see, there's another battery in there. It is a 30 amp hour battery, and the BMS for that is 170 amps. I do have them both being parallel together with a Y cable. Over here we have the two discharge connectors leading into a Y cable that turns into one, and it gets fed into the controller. All these wires are 6 gauge, so they can handle some serious heat. Over here I do have an upgraded seat. The stock one was not cutting it for long rides. This seat is so cushiony. It's so comfortable. Over here you see a DC converter, and it's hooked up to a light kit. The light kit controls the horn, the motorcycle headlight, the turn signals, and the rear brake light. It makes the wiring process for all the lighting super easy. Over here we have upgraded shocks. They are RFY brand. I got them from Amazon. Apparently they're used on motorcycles and scooters. I like them. They're not amazing, but they work great for the price. And the color accent goes so well with the bike. When you do get them though, they're not plug and play, but it's not that difficult to install. You see these mounting holes right here? All you gotta do is drill these holes a little bit bigger so that you can use the stock bolt and add washers. Here, let's get a close up. Yeah, there are some washers that are in between. I believe this is called a clevis mount, so there's a bunch of washers to fill in that space. Now underneath the rack is where I placed the Fardriver. It's hard to see from this side because of all the wiring. Let me move to the other side. Yeah, this is the Fardriver right here. It is a ND72680. This thing can push out some serious power. I only have the phase amp set to 600. It can top out at 680. 600 is already insane. So let me tell you something that a lot of people don't know about the settings in this controller. So a lot of folks know that you can set the throttle response to eco mode linear, which is a smooth ramp up of acceleration. And that's the one I'm on right now. It's just smooth and it feels like butter. And then there's a sport mode, right? The sport mode is crazy fast, and it makes the bike just take off on you. But here's the part that a lot of people don't know. There's a setting in the controller to where you can actually set it for race mode. Yesterday when I was testing out the bike with some buddies, I set it for sport mode and race mode, and I was on a roll at about 15-20 miles per hour, and when I cranked that throttle just a little bit, it shot me freaking forward so fast. It was insane. It's like nothing I've ever felt from a bike before. The only thing I can compare it to is, you know those roller coasters where they just bring you straight up and then they drop you? It's like that feeling. Yeah, I love this controller. There's so many settings to it so that you can customize your bike to exactly how you want it. Like even with the regen that I engage with the brake lever, you can set it so that at certain RPMs or like your speeds, the regen will engage harder or less. So like if you're going 10 miles per hour, you can set it so that the regen kicks in gently, whereas if you're going 50 miles per hour, you can set it so that the regen kicks in harder. The Sabaton controller on my X Class, it's only one setting. You can't really customize it. And finally, the motor. So this motor is a QS205 from NB Power. And QS205s are listed as 3 kilowatts, I believe. But when I compare this motor to my buddy's NB Power 5 kilowatt, this thing is way beefier. And that same buddy upgraded his 5 kilowatt to this QS motor. And when he compared it, he says it's night and day difference. It just barely gets warm when you're riding it hard. The other 5 kilowatt would just burn up. I think without stator rate in his 5 kilowatt, the motor reached a temperature of like 200 something degrees. Yeah, this motor paired with the Fardriver is just, it's an animal, man. So even though this bike is a steel frame and it can handle the torque of the motor, I have torque plates bolted on both sides of the axles. So this motor is going nowhere. Somewhere in this general area, I also have an alarm system that can directly hook into the controller. It's pretty cool because once you set it and someone moves your bike, the alarm will go off and it'll engage the regen braking, so someone can't push your bike away. And it's based off of vibration too. So it's worth it when you're doing deliveries and you go in and out of restaurants all the time, so that you can lock up your bike. And don't even think about trying to steal my bike, because if I catch you trying to take my bike, I'm gonna give you the 1-2 special. The 1-2 special is when I catch up to you and I just kick you in the groin and I slap you so hard, you're gonna wish you can go crawling back into your mama's womb. So don't even think about it. And the last thing we have on this bike is the brake lights, also the turn signals. I tried mounting it where the stock brake lights used to be, but this thing was just a little bit too wide and it was hitting the tail right here. Here, let me turn the turn signal on so you can see what it looks like. It works a lot better than what came on the stock bike. What do you guys think about the looks of this upgraded Aniioki? It's kind of ugly, but it's kind of cool at the same time, you know? Like I said, it looks like a Decepticon to me. Let's get into the riding. We're gonna ride this bike and I'll give you my impressions of what it feels like. This bike feels so buttery. The best way I can explain it is if you take a Cadillac and then you installed a bunch of NOS or attach a rocket booster to it. And this bike is heavy. I think it's like 150 pounds, but it's so fast off the line. So right now we are at 76 volts. I was around 82 volts earlier, but I was doing a lot of hard pulls. I did my speed test before filming the overview of the bike because I wanted to be on the road with less cars. I'm gonna pull over right now so that I can show you guys how fast I can get up to speed, like a 0 to 30 or 40 test. Here, check this out. That thing just jumped up so fast. The one downside, which is also an upside, which is the tall handlebars. It puts you in such a comfortable riding position, but I feel like it's not that great for like crazy high speeds. It gets a little squirrely up there. Guys, I'm hitting 60 miles per hour on not a full charge at like 70 something volts. When you guys just saw me get to 60, I wasn't even like pinning the throttle down. It was maybe halfway. This bike has just so much power, it's insane. Like, it's not even usable power at this point because it's so scary. I don't got the huevos for it. But I do realize that the faster I go, the more nervous I am. So it naturally makes me want to grip the handlebars super tight. And I think that's what makes it a little more wobbly, because every time I remind myself to ease up on the handlebars, the bike straightens out. We're at 73.9 volts. Look at the speed that this thing can take me at 70. That's almost 50% battery. but this bike still flies, but it's smooth at the same time. The power delivery is just insane. The motorcycle tires definitely help. With speeds like this, you need something that will keep you grounded. Shit, if I had e-bike tires, man, they'd probably pop while I'm riding, send me flying. What's interesting is that I think the step-through design makes it a lot easier to corner and just turn and lean on this bike. It feels a lot easier to move around in my X-Class. Guys, I'm hitting over 60 miles per hour at like 72 volts. At 50% charge, this thing will hit 60. This bike is too fast, that's insane. What kind of e-bike can hit 60 miles per hour at half charge? Come on, that's, oh my gosh. This bike just leans so easy. Like taking those turns, I feel like I can get lower on a turn with this bike than my X-Class. I don't know what it is. It might be the frame design, the step-through. Even though the step-through is pretty much gone because of my giant battery, it just leans so easy. Like in a great way. Ooh, I know the perfect spot to do some cornering. It's just right ahead. I don't think I'm gonna trigger this light, so there's no cars around. I'm just gonna take it. Oh, it triggered. Damn, this bike must be heavy. It triggered the light sensor. I'm not even gonna go fast, but let's take this little corner right here. Oh yeah, the confidence that I get when I lean, I feel like I leaned so far. I don't even know if the video showed it. This Aniioki's gonna be the fastest of them all. Ride so fast, gonna fly, never fall. No dual motors, just a rear hub. Please hit that like and give me a sub. That's $1 million rap right there. I'm like Eminem, but not as cool. So maybe you guys can call me Skittles. Taste the rainbow, mother truckers. A long time ago when I had a motorcycle, I took I think it's called the MSF course, where they teach you how to pretty much ride a motorcycle so that you can skip the driving test at the DMV. When I was taking that course, they taught you that when you're riding, it's better to like squeeze your bike with your knees, right? It will give you like better control of the bike. And I really like that there's a giant battery between my legs here so I can squeeze now. On my X-Class, I can't do that. You just don't squeeze anything. It just makes the bike a little more stable, which I forget to do when I ride pretty fast because I just get nervous. All right. Enough of this. Let me show you guys a speed test clip. Even though, to be honest, it's not that much faster than what we just. I was definitely getting nervous. I was gripping the handlebars too tight. I forgot to hug the battery with my knees. And this bike just isn't made for speeds like that. But here, let me show you guys the clip anyways.
That's badass, man.
Oh no, it's not a Chiron. It's I built it myself pretty much.
Oh, really? Pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
How many volts you got running into that bad boy?
72.
That's right.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I have a motorcycle. I like to ride my motorcycle around.
You like to ride your motorcycle? What kind of motorcycle you got?
It's just a little 250.
Oh, right.
The old school, like 1981 Yamaha.
That's pretty cool.
But it's got like a dirt bike gas tank, and it's pretty cool.
Hey, 250's fast enough.
Yeah, right. No, dude, enough fast enough to kill yourself. Right?
Exactly. How do you know what a Chiron is?
Oh, yeah, I've been seeing them on the internet for sale. Like,
Okay.
You know what I mean? But they're like super expensive.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right,
Take care. For all you haters out there, I'm gonna turn on two GPSs. One's gonna be my speedometer app that runs on GPS. I'm gonna restart it. All right. So we have 0 top speed so far, as you can see. Okay, and we're gonna turn on my Relive app. Record and start. Gosh, I think I just saw 65. 66. Jeez. Oh. Yeah, I saw 66, and then I think I got nervous, and I just and I like tensed up, and the bike started wobbling on me. And to be honest, I really like the torque and the range. I don't really care too much about top speed anymore. I'm happy with a super high torque bike. The speedometer says 66 is the top speed. Let's see what Relive said. So Relive actually said the top speed was 67.2 miles per hour. Yeah, I know this bike can go a lot faster because I haven't even pinned the throttle yet. So when I'm riding, if this is pinned down here, I'm probably like right there, maybe like halfway. But I'm done for speed tests, man. 60 miles per hour is already crazy fast on a bike. There's no way that this bike will feel stable at over 60 miles per hour without maybe lowering the handlebars to something more of a cafe racer stance, or putting some type of stabilizer with the fork in the frame. That opens up a whole nother can of worms that I don't want to get into. So I'm happy with my top speed, even though I know that this bike can actually go faster. The controller combined with the QS motor is just insane. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you have any questions about the build or anything at all, you know where to leave them. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. That was a pretty fun and exciting ride, huh? So it's not bad for an Aniioki. Well, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.